All right, new Tub video. Hackers who ruined people's lives.
In a world where our lives are consumed by technology, it's shocking how it could take someone who specializes in hacking to ruin your entire life. From leaking private photos, stealing entire bank accounts, blackmailing, all while staying anonymous, today we'll be talking about hackers that ruin people's lives. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. By the time this video comes out, I'm sure that my EP will have already been out. I usually make my announcements at the end of the video, but this is gonna be a really short one. But basically, in case you guys haven't seen on my second channel, I'm not making Hyperpop anymore. And I know some of you guys, or most of you guys, are celebrating about that. But I've been working so hard behind the scenes on my new sound. So if you want to go catch some of that, catch me on Kick. Yep, the best streaming platform of all time. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it is, but yeah, I've been streaming on Kick, and it's the first link in the description if you guys want to check it out. And we also have a new collection at Earl, earldoesn'texist.com. We have the Munchies collection. So if you guys want to go support Earl, you can buy something from there. And that's really it for the intro. Let's get on with the video. Megan Eugenio, aka Overtime Megan. Maybe some of you already know about this next topic because it has to do with social media influencers, but as we dive into this one, ask yourself this. What would you do if your nudes got leaked all over the internet without your consent and without your knowledge? Would you leave the internet forever, or would you take advantage and ride the momentum? Well, this is the exact situation that Megan Eugenio, a popular TikTok influencer,
I guess, you know, make the best out of the worst.
Overtime Megan became the center of attention when a hacker...
Because that's what Kim Kardashian did, right? Essentially. It was leaked, you know, the sex tape.
Exposed her entire gallery for the world to see. In there, she had photos and videos that anyone would consider private. The exact date that the hack happened isn't clear, but the news of the hack really spread out from April 28th onwards. TikToker Noah Glenn Carter seems to be the first source of the information in this now viral video, which has over 9.7 million views.
Oh,
Noah explained that Megan had deleted her TikTok after the huge leak, and in an Instagram story, she said that she was done with social media. Apparently, someone had gotten access to her phone and stole everything that was in there. The hacker went ahead and shared the content soon after, and compromising photos of her started popping up online. For example, YouTuber Maury, in his analysis of the story, said he saw the pictures in an NSFW Discord server called Samaria. Shortly after the leak, Megan turned off her TikTok comments and deleted her account. This situation must have really hit her hard, and she probably thought her life was on the brink of destruction. Literally a scenario where hackers bury a career before it even starts. In fact, one user on YouTube commented that she was barely at the beginning of a legitimate career in journalism. More users seem to sympathize with her situation with comments like, the idea that she could lose her job over this, when she's a victim herself and it wasn't her fault, makes me really upset and sad, and I want to sleep and wake up in a world where people don't blame the victims of horrific crimes like this anymore. This is truly a sad situation, especially for an online creator that was just blowing up. Megan had really worked her way up.
Okay, is that some like incel shit, you know? Like, what? She just had nudes on her phone? So what? How is it her fault that she got hacked?
Charts with about 2.5 million followers on TikTok and 498,000 followers on Instagram at the time. Megan went dark on social media for a few days and then came back on May 2nd with a video explaining the entire situation. In the video, she thanked everyone that supported her during the whole ordeal, including her team, her family, and her agency. She reminded everyone that she was a victim and it wasn't her fault. It was a crime against her, and she didn't see it as defining her self-worth. She also added that if anyone was participating in sharing and distributing the content, then they were participating in a crime that had real repercussions. She said, people aren't realizing that this is a real person you are messing with. I have friends, I have family, I have a job, I have real things going on. The video was also a declaration of her comeback. She stated she wasn't going to let anyone who did this steal her happiness, and that she was going to continue to make content. Interestingly, in classic social media fashion, her follower numbers grew significantly after the hack.
That makes sense, yeah.
Her TikTok account now stands at 2.7 million followers. Her Instagram is at 630,000, while on Twitter she's at 146,000. Now, while she seems to be doing well, there's always going to be those trolls that have notifications on for whenever she tweets and say stuff like this. I've seen her naked. Everyone has already. Facts like my nanny. What the f does facts like my nanny mean? Anyway, I'm glad Megan didn't just leave the internet and let this hacker ruin her life, and I'm glad that she's pushing through.
What the fuck?
Matt Honan. On August 4th, 2012, Matt Honan, who was then a writer for the popular tech website Gizmodo, had this tweet show up on his Twitter account. He had been hacked.
Clan VV3 and Phobia hacked this Twitter.
The situation.
Oh, was that like a little, you know, like a little calling card?
The hackers, Clan VV3 and Phobia, had gotten into his digital accounts and rained havoc. In a series of steps, they had deleted his Google account, gotten into his Apple ID account, and used it to wipe clean his iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. They then got into his Twitter account and started broadcasting racist and homophobic messages. What's even more bizarre is that this all happened in the matter of an hour. The hack, of course, left him devastated because he lost a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
More than a year's worth of his daughter's pictures,
Jesus,
important emails, photos of loved ones who had passed on,
Oh
and
my
critical
god,
documents.
dude, that's fucked.
According to him, losing photos of his little girl was the greatest tragedy in all of this. So, what exactly happened? Well, according to an article that Matt Mohan wrote for Wired.com,
These
there
fucking
were several
losers
steps
hacking
involved.
into these
First, after doing
guys'
some
account
background
for
research
no
on him,
reason.
the hackers figured out that Matt had a Gmail account whose recovery address was mhonan@me.com, and they took advantage that his Gmail didn't have two-factor authentication. So one of the hackers, Phobia, simply went to the Gmail account recovery page and put
Isn't there like 3-factor
in Matt's
shit now?
email address, and he could see
Authentication?
the alternate email set up for account recovery. Seeing the
I guess
me.com
two
email,
even-
the hackers knew
I'm
they
sure
could
it
get
helps.
him easily. Next, the hackers called Apple and pretended to be Matt trying to recover his email account after forgetting the password. To do this, they needed Matt's billing address and the last 4 digits of his credit card. They went looking. They got the billing address by inputting Matt's personal website, www.honan.net, into the Whois domain search database. For the credit card digits, the process was a little more involving. First off, the hackers called Amazon pretending to be Matt wanting to add a new credit card to his account. To allow this, Amazon requested for the name on the account, an email address, and the billing address. Of course, the hacker had all of this
had all
and
that,
stated
yeah.
the new card information, and it was added. And they hang up immediately. Then they called back immediately and said they lost access to the account. The goal here was to be allowed to add a new email address to Matt's Amazon account. Amazon asked for a name, billing address, and the credit card number, the one that they just added. After providing this, they were allowed to add the new email address. From here, they simply reset the password, logged in, and accessed information on other credit cards attached to the account. So far, they had Matt's full name, his billing address, and the last 4 digits of his real credit card. At 4:33 p.m., the hackers then placed a call to Apple's tech support again, pretending to be Matt and unable to access their @me.com email. Apple asked for their billing address and the last 4 digits of their credit card, and voila, they were issued with a temporary password. By 4:50 p.m., they had reset the password to his email. Then at 4:52, they reset the Gmail account password, and at 5:02 p.m., they reset his Twitter password.
This is so
Also,
stupid,
now that they
man.
had access to his iCloud,
What
the
the
hackers used the
fuck?
Find My
Why,
iPhone tool
dude?
to wipe his
Why?
phone
Why are you
remotely at
doing
around
all
5:02
this?
p.m. Then, to prevent him from taking back access,
Holy
they wiped
shit,
his
man.
iPad at 5:01 p.m. and his MacBook at 5:05 p.m. Now, you might wonder, where was Matt the entire time his devices were getting hacked? He says he actually realized something was wrong at around 5 p.m. while playing with his daughter. Suddenly, his iPhone powered down. He didn't think too much of it and tried to plug it into a charger, but then it rebooted to the setup screen. He went to his MacBook to try to restore the iPhone's backup, but then a message came up saying his Gmail info was wrong and the computer asked for a 4-digit PIN. Since he never had a PIN for his MacBook, he knew something was wrong instantly, which caused them to call Apple at around 5:10 p.m. Unfortunately, by this time, the hackers were already done, and 2 minutes later, at 5:12 p.m., they posted the damning tweet on his account. In an interesting turn of events, one of the hackers, Phobia, reached out to Matt and explained how they had done the whole thing.
What the fuck?
And what was their end goal? It was Matt's Twitter handle. You guys know the craze for 3-letter usernames, right? 4-letter usernames. So basically they wanted to hack into his account and flip it and sell it for more money. Some Twitter and Instagram usernames actually sell for upwards of $50,000.
Jesus.
Anyway, Phobia and his accomplices took about an hour.
Oh, I'm sure if you
to
know
ruin his social life.
if you end up making an account name that later someone makes a business with the same name, yeah, I could see that. Selling for the business, buying that handle for a lot of money.
Turn it upside down. It just really is interesting how these hackers took about an hour to wipe his devices clean just to get a 3-letter username. Gary Berman. Gary Berman's story is pretty insane because it shows how much damage a really competent
I guess that makes sense. I was asking earlier, like, what the fuck's the point in all this? But yeah, I guess money.
Berman. Gary Berman's story is pretty insane because it shows how much damage a really competent hacker can cause to a small company. While doing a podcast interview for Cybersecurity Dispatch, Berman narrated how he ended up closing down his company because he got hacked and clients were being stolen and redirected as he watched. This happened around 2003 when most people weren't aware of the online world, let alone having the skills to navigate it properly. Berman ran a small telecommunications company that had clients like AT&T, Coca-Cola, and Procter & Gamble. He was doing well and even sold a 49% stake in this company to WPP Group, a really large globally acclaimed communications firm. Now, the problem started when he stepped away from the firm for about 6 months due to a knee injury. During this time, sales began to decline, and he thought it was because he was away. But he just didn't know that he had been hacked, both digitally and operation-wise. Turns out that 2 insiders were working with a brilliant programmer to steal clients and tarnish the firm's reputation. The programmer had cloned the entire company's website and created a server that acted as a middleman in all the communications going in and out of the company. Any phone call that would come in, for instance, would get redirected to their clone company. Also, physically in the office, the insiders were working on projects under Berman's name without him even knowing it.
Wow.
Anyway, one of the bizarre moments he recalls is when a client called about a PowerPoint presentation of capabilities that Berman had apparently sent her. She said, "Isn't this from your company?" And as he looked over, he realized his juniors were trading deals in secret. Also, the sabotage included a scenario where the hacker sent a PowerPoint presentation pitching for work and signed off with an expletive. Instead of ending with, quote, "thank you," the hackers changed it to "f." Berman ended up losing the $400,000 contract he was trying to pitch for. This meddling was also possible as his home computer had been hacked via the internet-connected printer, and the hackers were
Jesus
really messing
Christ,
with his files.
man.
They also did other annoying things like changing his Facebook profile picture and altering texts that his daughter was sending to him. Of course, he noticed these changes, but no one at home believed him, not even his wife. He said, "My wife and brother thought I had lost my mind." They scheduled
Oh
an
my
appointment with a
God. I mean,
psychiatrist
yeah,
for
I
him.
could
He,
kinda
however,
see that,
gathered
yeah.
enough evidence and called a professional cybersecurity firm, and only then did he discover that not only was his computer hacked, but his phone and email addresses were compromised too. The firm installed a firewall, fixed his passwords, and got his control back. At his company, he called in a forensic firm that helped gather evidence that an attorney would use to sue the employees involved. However, he never pursued the case and says that that decision was $1 million mistake. Apparently, after meeting with his wife, the attorney, and the culprits, he decided to drop the case. Together with his wife, considering their daughter had special needs, they felt they didn't want to put bad karma into the world. He also tried to keep the company going, but the dent in the reputation had taken things down a dark path.
Oh, I don't
He
agree
ended
with
up
that.
depleting his personal savings and eventually closing down the firm. It seems the hacking did in fact ruin his life at that point.
So
The
you gotta
upside
get him
is that
back,
he
man.
began a
Eye
very
for an eye,
successful
am I right?
career in cybersecurity. Rick Thomas.
Sue the shit out of him.
Have
What?
you ever heard of Ashley Madison? Well, hold on tight, because in this story, you'll learn how this very popular dating and social networking site got hacked and screwed up the lives of many married men. As I already mentioned,
Oh no, dude. Oh no. Oh boy.
Ashley Madison is a dating and social
Oh,
networking
God.
site.
All right.
It's based in
Let's see
Canada,
what's-
but
see what
available
happens.
in many markets, including the US. And no, it's not like Tinder, it's worse. For example, the first thing you'll notice on their website is the
Oh, this is the affair one. Right. I was trying to remember if it was or not.
tagline, "Life is short, have an affair."
God,
They
dude,
literally
that's
offer
so
an
fucked.
opportunity for people to cheat on their partners discreetly, and while at
That
it,
is so
they have very
weird.
convincing descriptions of their service. For example, the statement, "Did you know infidelity is emotional while adultery is physical?" And "Meeting someone at work or friends is too risky when discretion is your #1 concern, and the old taboos are frowned upon." All these are right on their homepage. Now that you know what the company's about, let's move on to the hack.
Weird, man.
Back in August of
Weird.
2015, Ashley Madison got breached, and the hackers put out personal information of about 32 million people that had signed up for the service.
That's
These
a lot.
details included
Holy shit.
names, emails, and physical addresses.
Is there like some sort of way to remain anonymous on this site? Like, I don't know how that would work. Like, use fake names or something?
This data was contained in a
Personas?
9.7 gigabyte size
I don't know.
file that was posted on the dark web using an Onion address accessible via Tor browser. Worse still, the data also contained the login details of all the site users. Also, the hackers got hold of millions of credit card transactions done on the site going as far back as 2008. And there's even more. The data had descriptions of what
That's
members
how old
were
it is?
seeking
Really?
from the site. For example, "I'm looking for someone who isn't happy at home or just bored looking for some excitement." Now, with all this data being leaked,
it
you
still
can
up?
probably imagine the havoc that it caused, especially with the partners of those people. And one such man is Rick Thomas.
I guess
a
so,
married
Jesus
man
Christ.
that joined the site at age 56. Having been married for 19 years,
the
he
fuck?
said that after he turned 56, he simply got a bad case of hives. He said, "Call it a midlife crisis, poor judgment, or a cheater's heart. Whatever it was, I easily found fault in my marriage. Intimacy was long gone. Simply put, his life was boring and he was looking for excitement. He saw an online ad and signed up for Ashley Madison. Then, just a couple of weeks later, he saw news about the hack. Soon after, he started getting emails from a hacker named Mr. X, who was demanding $1,000 in Bitcoin payment, or he would expose Rick to his family and friends. Rick refused to pay the money and instead thought it was easier to come clean with his wife. He did so, and while trying to convince his wife that he loved her, she walked right out the front door. Though she didn't leave him for good. Rather, she turned up in the morning and advised him to seek the services of a marriage counselor. It's anyone's guess where she went that night, and it seems that their marriage did survive, but
Or just went
with
like to
a
her
crazy
sister's
big
house or
scar.
something.
Given that 86% of the members on the website were men, obviously not
How many?
everyone got back together with on the website, but with a crazy big scar. Given that 86%
86% are men? Holy shit, dude. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, yeah. Wow, must get hard to it must be hard to get
The
paired with someone.
members on the website
Jesus,
were
that ratio is
men.
terrible.
Obviously, not
What
everyone.
what is the Tinder ratio? Hold on, Tinder ratio, male female. Male 75%, female 25%.
got back together with their wife. I don't even know why she got back together with him. I guess the 19 years being
thought it
together,
would be
whatever.
more like
But I think it's a safe bet to say that those
65, 35.
hackers ruined a bunch of marriages. Though it wasn't really the hackers, it was the men themselves. But you could say the hackers did a really good thing here. Yeah, that's just really a really interesting story on the list. Let's move on to the next one. Dr. Craig Wright. This next hack takes us into the heart of cryptocurrency. This is one of those cases where a hack has a chain reaction that causes havoc in other people's lives. In this case, the lives of several crypto developers. First, let's go over the hack. On Saturday, February 8th, 2020, Dr. Craig Wright, a very well-known figure in the crypto world, saw 3 transactions transferring Bitcoin out of a wallet. 2 of these transactions were substantial. This was alarming because first, he stored his private wallet keys in his home computer in Surrey, England, and second, his computer had confidential information relating to 2 other digital wallets containing roughly $4 billion. These other 2 digital assets are a pretty important part of this story, so let's briefly cover them. What are they? Well, they are 2 Bitcoin addresses, one FeeX and 12IB7. They were held under Dr. Wright's company, Tulip Trading, and contained about 111,000 Bitcoin, worth approximately $4 billion as of 2021.
Jesus,
While the origin
insane.
of these many coins is a debated issue, Dr. Wright says he bought them as an investment as far back as 2011. Now, having these valuable assets in one's possession, it's very easy to understand
And he was
why
still
Dr.
holding
Wright
onto
kept
them?
access to them stored locally on his computer. This is a smart move in the crypto space because it's almost impossible to hack an offline computer in your home. In this case, he stored the keys in encrypted files, which were inside a password-protected RAR file. He even used something called algorithmic masking as an added layer of protection. Still, hackers got into it and took off with the RAR file, 37 gigabytes of other files, about 50 white papers, 1.1 million pounds of Bitcoin SV, and 0.333 Bitcoin. Now, if you understand how crypto works, then you know that if someone steals something like a flash drive and it has your wallet key, then you're fucked because you lose access to whatever was in your wallet. This is why Dr. Wright's hack was really bad, because when the RAR file was stolen, he lost access to the 1FeeX and 12IB7 addresses, and hence his $4 billion. Immediately after the hack, he notified the police. While there's no definitive answer as to how the hackers got in, Dr. Wright believes they did so via a wireless router that was mysteriously planted in his home.
Oh,
He said,
Jesus.
I believe it must have been planted there by the hackers, either when tradesmen were in our home or by breaking in. Now, you may be tempted to think that Dr. Wright's life was ruined by the hackers, but you would be wrong. Losing 111,000 Bitcoin is nothing to a man who owns about 1.1 million Bitcoin in total. The people whose lives got rocked are the developers of popular crypto platforms. As I said in the beginning, it's a destructive chain reaction. Why? Well, when Dr. Wright lost his assets, he began legal action against the developers of these wallets to make them recover his stolen access.
Oh, wow.
In May of 2021, the High Court of London approved his case against the developers behind Bitcoin,
Oh, damn,
Bitcoin
alright.
Cash, Bitcoin SV, and Bitcoin Cash ABC. A funny fact here is that he included BSV in the lawsuit, despite it being a company that he started back in 2017. Anyway, the case was dismissed on March 2022, but Dr. Wright appealed the decision, and the Court of Appeal granted him his wish, getting the case on track to a trial that will be held in early 2024. In his lawsuit, he's demanding that these developers create a backdoor to the Bitcoin Core blockchain to reimburse him for his stolen coins and return access to the wallets. While this is impossible from a technical point of view, the bigger problem the developers are facing is that if the court rules in Dr. Wright's favor, they'll be forced to have a fiduciary duty to their users going forward. This simply means that a crypto software developer could be held liable for damages experienced by someone else who used their product in a different country other than the US. This liability would arise from the fact that the developer contributed to an open source project. The lawyer defending these developers, Jessica Jones of Bitcoin Legal Defense Fund, said they are volunteering their time to work on public infrastructure. They're doing it for free. They're adding it under MIT license, which is supposed to protect them from things like this. As it stands, all involved parties are waiting for trial. But what do you think based on the facts? Is Dr. Wright ruining the lives of open source developers in the crypto world? Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure
I
to
have
leave
no
a like
fucking
if you guys
idea.
enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and make sure to go follow me on Kick. I'm always gonna be streaming there. I'll be streaming there a lot, and make sure to check out my Patreon. As you guys
I
know,
think I'd be able to forgive these hackers if they made an apology video while playing the ukulele. Okay. Oh my lord. That's a good.